It's a cold start.
The news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us during this Monday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And a nice, calm morning out there, but are things going to change?
At least here today, I mean, we got some snow chances in the Utica, Mohawk Valley area. Not high impact, but headed toward Tug Hill, a much different story.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at what's going on outside right now. Again, those temperatures early today, not too bad. Yes, a little chilly, but for January standards, this could be a bit colder out there. We zoom in here, we have single digits or low teens in the Adirondacks, mid-teens heading down into the Mohawk Valley and Oneida County, and eventually heading south, same story, mid to upper teens heading out towards, say, Otsego and Shenango counties. Downtown Utica, with the quieter weather overnight into early this morning, really no impacts heading out to work early today. However, there are reports of an accident here I'll show you in a second. Here, regardless, we have light snow working its way in. However, there is some heavier snow starting to move its way in, especially up toward north and west of Utica. So an accident that was brought to our attention here on the traffic tracker, roadblocked on 12B both ways between Route 15 and Robinson Road. So right here, just a heads up if you're heading that direction. No update just yet, but a reminder, again, that's the only closure we have so far early this morning. Today, temperatures climb into the 20s. With mostly cloudy skies, light snow develops here and there. This is a better shot for at least a brief round of heavier snow around 6 p.m. Then, of course, we'll be diving into that impactful lake effect snow near Tug Hill. The details coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Happening today, students are off from school.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Time now is 5:10. Happy Monday morning. For the morning today, we have some pretty quiet conditions, and with that being in mind, we're going to see pretty much how the rest of the day will shape up here. Got to use a different remote here because it looks like my battery died on this one as well. But either way, as we look ahead to the week, it's going to be an active one. At least this morning, though, we get to take a deep breath here before some busy weather moves in, especially north and west of Utica. 16 degrees the temperature outside this morning. It feels like 16, some calm winds at play here today. Sunrise at 7:32, sunset at 4:59. We are now a pre-5 p.m. sunset, and toward the end of the month, our sunrise will switch to 7:17, and our sunsets at 5:12. So we have a bit of a trend here toward a post 5 p.m. sunset in a matter of a few days. A look at roadways this morning. We have some clearing taking place right now, some light snow on the horizon, and some lake effect snow starting to move in for the Buffalo and Watertown areas early today. We do have a chance of a brief round of at least accumulating snowfall here briefly this evening, but besides that, we are tracking a cooler one, but a quiet one today, with some lake effects north and west. Details straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Now to a rare weather event.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. A quiet morning out there today, but we do have some notable things taking place this week, at least when it comes to temperature and, of course, snow. Let's dive into it. Live look at downtown Utica. Quiet view out there early this morning. A look at the Yorkville Battery live radar. Same story. We've got a few light snow showers passing over the area today. With, as I mentioned previously, some notable lake effect trying its best to form right off the shores of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, but well north and west of our area. At least early today, this lake effect is not expected to impact us here locally. So what we're looking at in the long-term trends, including through the rest of the end of the week and beyond to next week, there is a cold air mass working its way in. We've been mentioning the second half of January will be cold, and sure enough, this sign definitely points to it, and we'll show you here momentarily just how cold it gets. In the meantime, let's talk snowfall. So we have that cold air mass working its way in from the north. This is a prime setup for impactful lake effect snow. Keep in mind, the Great Lakes, normally as you get throughout winter time, they begin to cool down, and in some cases Lake Erie freezes over. But with the random thaws you've been getting, it allows those temperatures in the lakes to remain just warm enough to where we get that Arctic air mass working in, and lake effect snow really begins to show up in full force. So that's what will take place tonight through much of Tuesday, mainly in this zone right here, before widespread snow begins to move in as we head into Wednesday. So zooming in here on our Skycast, here's that light snow today. As we head toward the evening commute, there could be a brief round of impactful snow there briefly. And then as we head into the overnight, this lake effect begins to form. Now, the model here has it farther south than any other data set we're looking at here, but there is a potential southward push briefly overnight with this strong lake band. So we'll keep a close eye on this because, of course, this could produce some notable accumulations in the span of a few hours. It will shift north regardless and remain mostly north with some Lake Erie impacts for those of you in the southern valleys, so watch out for that. And then that snow band will continue to remain in that area and then shift its way north. This is a very strong band of snowfall here. So while today's impacts for snow here relatively unimpactful, I should say, as we head toward 7 p.m. tonight through 7 p.m. Tuesday, you can see some spots in that yellow zone picking up 20 inches or more of snow, of course, around Tug Hill. So your 7-day forecast, we still have some busy weather this week. We have lake effect Tuesday, widespread snow Wednesday, a return to some additional lake effect Friday and Saturday, and then as I mentioned, Gary, that cold moves in. Saturday, high of 6, a low of -11, and then a high of 8 on Sunday.
Oh,
so
my.
We've got a cold weekend on tap.
That's for sure. Just an hour or so from here, 20 inches, and we get pretty much nothing.
Yeah, joys of lake effect.
Yeah, that's for sure. Eric, thanks. The time right now is good morning once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. And on this Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, what can you expect as you head out to the local ceremonies? Eric, right now at least, it's pretty calm.
Yeah, for January standards, this is not too bad of a morning out there, Gary. Let's take a look at the temperatures and current conditions outside right now. Mostly cloudy skies across the area, and temperatures in the upper to mid-teens here in the Mohawk Valley. A little bit cooler as you head up to the Adirondacks in the low teens, single digits. But at least for mid to late January, as a typical setup here across the area. Heading down to the southern valleys, same story here. Teens. And overall pretty quiet conditions. Downtown Utica, a live view outside this morning. It is a dry one out there. You should have really no impacts heading to where you need to go early this morning. And when it comes to the radar scans, you can see here we got some light snow falling out to the west. But the key word there is light snow, not really anything impactful early today. Traffic tracker, you can see here with the lack of anything notable this morning, lots of green across the board. Just a heads up, though, if you're heading along Route 12B this morning between Utica and Clinton, there is a report of a crash blocking the road between Route 15, Brimfield Street, and Robinson Road. Just a heads up if you're heading in that direction early today. So cold starts, a quieter afternoon with some light snow chances. This is a better shot for at least a brief round of heavier snow closer to the 6 p.m. hour today, but it won't last that long. In the meantime, that'll be the catalyst for a stronger lake effect setup impacting areas north and west of Utica, mainly in the Tug Hill Plateau. We'll dive into that here coming up shortly. Gary?
Eric, thanks, and don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. The Trump administration.
Channel 2 is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli.
Happy Monday morning, everybody. Today we are starting out quiet, but we have a pretty busy week ahead. Let's take a look at what's going to be going on for this week here in January. First off, it's a quiet start today. We have some afternoon snow showers we are following. At least one band of that snow that moves in this evening could be heavier than light snow, at least we'll be seeing early today. Heavy lake effect snow sets up tonight, mainly north and west of Utica. And then Arctic air will arrive later this week. We'll be diving into that here shortly. In the meantime, temperatures this morning, not too bad out there early today. And as we head to our photo of the day, this one takes us to Boonville, and a great shot right here of a colorful sunset sent in to us by Brenda. An amazing photo right here of the snow-covered fields and trees and the very fiery sunset out in the distance. If you have one like this you'd like to share with us, send it to WKTV.com/weather/pics. Your photo of the day every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Brenda Nellis up in Boonville.
Great shot.
Yeah, that's for sure. Eric, thanks. After light snow.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. On this Monday, we start out quiet, but we do have a very busy week ahead of us. Let's dive into it right now. A live look at downtown Utica. Quiet scene down in the city. And overall, temperatures not too bad in the mid-teens for a lot of locations early today. And Yorkville Battery Live Radar. We have a few areas reporting some light snow in the higher atmosphere. Some of that might reach the ground early today. But in terms of impactful snow, as you notice out to western New York and near Watertown, that's or at least north of Watertown into the Thousand Island area, that's where that heavier snow is currently falling. So while we are tracking some impactful snow around Tug Hill this week, it's what follows that will be impacting pretty much the majority of the Northeast and, of course, here locally. Some very cold temperatures. We were mentioning over the past week or so, we'd be looking at a colder second half of January, and sure enough, this will definitely be the case here as Arctic air moves in. We're going to get a taste of it, at least as we head into the next few days. Not so much temperatures, but the impacts as we look at the bigger picture. So what you're seeing with these colors here, it's called atmospheric thickness. Basically, it's one way we determine the temperatures way in the upper atmosphere, not necessarily near the ground, but it tells a story of how cold it is aloft and what fuels lake effect. We see these darker pinks and purples almost to the color black. That tells you the air is very, very dense. And that allows, of course, that cold air to work its way through and produce some impactful lake effect snow tomorrow through tomorrow night. Then, of course, that will recede a little bit. We have widespread snow Wednesday, but keep in mind that cold air mass is still there and will eventually sweep south toward the end of the week. So today, a few light snow showers. I'll show you the snowfall map here in a second, but at least when it comes to the impacts of snow, around 5-6 p.m. today is our best shot for at least a brief round, producing a coating of snow and some roadways possible. This is the uncertain part with the lake effect tonight. Being completely transparent here, this is the only model that shifts the snow this far south. We're looking at data right now where a lot of this snow stays mainly north near Camden and Boonville, but this band could shift south overnight. We'll closely watch the wobbling nature of this, but regardless, it will be expected to shift its way north and remain necessarily near the Tug Hill Plateau for much of Tuesday through Tuesday nights. In terms of snowfall today, as I mentioned, not a whole lot, traced to an inch, maybe an inch or two in some hilltop areas, but it's what takes place 7 p.m. tonight through 7 p.m. Tuesday here. Look at some of the snowfall totals right here. This is the border of Oneida County here. We trended this south a little bit. We might continue that trend here based off of the latest information. So again, impactful snow arriving as we head into tomorrow. So you see here, we have a pretty active week of widespread snow, lake effect snow here and there. But this coming weekend, Gary, look at that. We've got 6 and 8, the high temperatures.
Oh, wow.
Double digits below zero Saturday night. So we got some cold weather on the way.
Head off to Florida, maybe.
I think maybe Florida might be cold too if it's that
Not this
cold
cold.
here. Yeah.
Eric, thanks. Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Monday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And a calm morning out there so far, but tonight the North Country could get whopped.
Yes, getting a good amount of snow up there north and west of Utica. Let's take a look at the current conditions right now, because at least early today, it hasn't started just yet, at least here locally. We are in the teens here across the Mohawk Valley. Let's zoom in, upper teens, or I should say upper single digit to low teens in the Adirondacks. Heading up to 18 in Little Falls, 16 Washington Mills, heading south, 18 in Morris, 14 Oneonta, 17 Cherry Valley, and 17 as well over in Sherburne. Downtown Utica this morning, should have really no impacts heading to where you need to go early today. Yorkville Battery live radar showing some light snow right now. I zoom out a little bit here. We can kind of see what's going on. Let's zoom out and go right out here, and you can kind of see some of that lake effect really starting to shape up north of Buffalo and near the Thousand Island area here in New York State. So pretty busy stretch of weather to look ahead to starting tomorrow. In the meantime, though, here locally, roads looking pretty okay. Still, though, no update yet on this closure here on Route 12B between Brimfield Street and Robinson Road. So just a heads up, if you're heading that direction, plan for potential detour here if you head out near the Clinton area here early this morning. Temperatures in the teens climbing into the mid-20s this afternoon with a round of snow showers potentially producing a coating of snow this evening around 6 p.m. And then some impactful snow near Tug Hill tonight. We'll dive into that, plus a major cold on the way in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Happening today, students.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise here on this Monday morning. I hope you all had a great weekend. Today, though, we are looking at some busier weather arriving north and west of us starting tonight. In the meantime, though, here's a quick look at what you can expect heading out the door early today. First off, current temperature 15 degrees, calm winds out there, sunrise 7:32, sunset at 4:59. By the end of the month, our sunrise will be at 7:17 in the morning, and then our sunset will be post 5 p.m. We're looking at 5:12, so it's a slow process, but we're getting there in terms of some longer days. A look at roadways this morning. Lots of clear roads out there. You should have little to no impact getting to where you need to go this morning. And the Yorkville Battery live radar showing dry conditions for right now. We are tracking some light snow arriving with some on and off snow bands here and there. We do have some more snowfall arriving closer to the 6 o'clock hour today that could produce a light coating of snow on the ground. But regardless, expect a mostly cloudy day today, highs in the mid-20s. But again, as I mentioned, that heavy lake effect begins to form north and west of us tonight and really strengthens as we head into tomorrow. So we have that to keep an eye on now for, as well as some very cold temperatures to wrap up the week. All that coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Get ready, folks, up in Tug Hill. It's coming. Eric, thanks. Now to a rare...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. It's a new week out there today, and we begin with a quiet start to your work week, but we got plenty of things to talk about here over the next several days. Let's dive into it here. Live look at downtown Utica. Heading out to work this morning, no impacts on your morning commute. It's dry. Temperature's actually not too bad as well. We are still hovering in the mid-teens, a typical early January start to the day today. And a look at the Yorkville Battery live radar. We have some light snow showers we're tracking right now. Expect on and off flurries mixing with cloudy skies today. Heavy snow falling north of Buffalo and in the Thousand Island region here in New York State. But we do expect a brief round of heavier snow around 6 p.m. tonight. That's really about it in terms of notable snowfall here today. You can see that band rolling through right here with that cold front arriving. Now, following that, we see this cold air mass, Arctic air mass, move its way in from the northwest, and that's going to arrive and produce some significant lake effect snow in western New York, as well as, of course, around Tug Hill. And keep in mind, following that, we have some more snow chances Wednesday, so it's a pretty busy week ahead this week. So let's zoom in here in the Skycast, because there's a couple things I want to talk about with this lake effect snow. So again, this afternoon, there's that cold front moves through on 5 to 6 p.m. Then that lake effect sets up, and here is the uncertainty here. Now, I came in this morning, I was looking at data last night and early this morning. When I came in, I saw that our model here has this snow band shifting farther south than any data set we have here. So it's one of those scenarios where it's a possibility, but it's not the mean. I don't think personally it's going to sweep this far south, but you know how lake effect has been this year. It's been not playing by the rules at all. So just keep in mind that overnight Tuesday, there could be some surprise snowfall here in central Oneida County. I don't think it's likely, but I'd rather let you guys know about it than rule it out entirely and have it happen. So a potential surprise snowfall there. Excuse me. Regardless, it'll move its way back up north again and impact northern Oneida County, in the Camden area and north in the Tug Hill Plateau for much of Tuesday afternoon through Tuesday night. In terms of snowfall today until 7 p.m., not a whole lot here. You see 1 to 2 inches in the higher elevations. It really is what happens as we head into tonight through 7 p.m. Tuesday. Look at some of that snowfall here approaching nearly 2 feet in that yellow zone there. So again, a lot of impactful snow we're tracking leading up to tomorrow night. And then following that, we've been mentioning we have this cold air mass working its way in for the second half of January. And here it is. And how cold will it get? We see all these dark blues. What does that mean for us here locally? Well, take a look here at that 7-day forecast. We go from the teens and 20s the next few days with some snow chances here and there. Then the weekend hits, and it cools down quick, Gary. We're a high of 6 Saturday, a high of 8 Sunday, a low of -11 by Saturday night. So we have some serious cold on the way.
And some good football coming up, too.
It's just some great football arriving.
Good to stay in. Eric, thanks. Be sure to like us on Facebook again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour and on this Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. What can folks expect when they head out to all the local ceremonies? Eric, right now at least, it's pretty calm.
Yeah, pretty calm start to the day. A little cool, but average, and just a few snow showers, but nothing very impactful today. Let's take a look at the current conditions outside right now. We are in the teens across central New York, a little cooler as you get up in the Adirondacks. Let's zoom in here. 12 Inlet, 14 Lake Pleasant, heading down into the Mohawk Valley, 17 Fort Plain, 18 Little Falls. Heading south, it's 16 Cooperstown, 18 in Norwich and in Morris, and 14 in Oneonta. A look at downtown Utica early this morning. Traffic starting to pick up in that morning rush hour. Of course, a bit lower in the morning rush hour totals here with the holiday today. And downtown Utica, switching over to the widespread view of central New York, you can see here relatively quiet. A few snow showers are tracking here and there. Still no update as whether the road is back open again here in just outside of Clinton along Route 12B. There was a crash earlier this morning around 4 a.m. and the road was blocked both ways between Brimfield Street and Robinson Road. So just plan for a possible detour if you're heading along 12B between Clinton and New Hartford. So the next 12 hours this morning, we go from the teens up into the mid-20s with some snow chances this evening. Right around 6 p.m., that's where we could see at least some snow-covered roadways, some a cold front rolling through. But in the meantime, we have a better shot for impactful snow, and that will actually be north and west Utica around the Tug Hill Plateau and surrounding areas tonight through much of tomorrow. We'll dive into how much we could be seeing in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise here on this Monday morning. Hope you all had a great weekend. If you're just tuning in with us this morning, here's a few things we'll be talking about not only for today, but for pretty much this coming week. A pretty busy one. Maybe not here locally in the entire time, but throughout New York State. First off, it's a quiet start today. We do have some afternoon snow showers, especially once a cold front rolls through around 6 p.m. today. It could coat some roadways, some fresh snow. Heavy lake effect snow sets up tonight, mainly north and west of Utica. We'll show you exactly where and when coming up in a few minutes here in our full forecast. And following that, Arctic air arrives later this week. This is going to produce some notable snowfall, or excuse me, a notable cold, as well as some additional lake effect snow as we head into the end of the work week. In the meantime, how about this for our first photo of the day this week? This one takes us to Boonville. A vibrant sunset sent in by Brenda here. An amazing shot of the snowy scenes and the fiery sunset out in the distance. If you have one showcasing the snowy scene in your neck of the woods, anything winter related you think could brighten someone's day, including myself, head to WKTV.com/weather/pics. Your photo of the day brought to you every morning by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Eric, thanks. After light snow on Saturday, another system.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, time now 6:49. Welcome back to another week here in January where it'll definitely return to more winter-like situations again. Let's take a look right now at downtown Utica, where right now it's still cold, but it's dry out there. Getting to where you need to go this morning, you should have little to no impacts with the dry roadways across the area. And as you look right now at the Yorkville Battery Live radar, we do have some light snow showers expected today, mixed in with mostly cloudy skies. Keep in mind, we do have some pretty intense lake effect snow north of Buffalo in the Thousand Island area here in New York State. But that snow will mainly stay outside of our area, at least during the daylight hours today. But by tonight, that snow will be sweeping its way south a little bit. In fact, how far south will it go? Well, let's look at the bigger picture here. So we have a cold front arriving today. That's going to produce a brief round of heavier snow in the 5 to 6 o'clock hour today, as a heads up for that. We have Arctic air to our north. See those darker purples, almost black? That tells you the atmosphere is very cold. And that will allow some intense lake effect to begin to set up, mainly around the Tug Hill Plateau. But, of course, with any of these lake effect scenarios, the band could wobble a little bit. And there's where some uncertainty is, which I'll show you here in a second. Then we have widespread snow arriving as we head into Wednesday. A typical wintertime system with that one there. So let's zoom in here in our Skycast. Today, low impact flurries and clouds here and there. A round of snow showers as we head into the evening hours today. Then that lake effect snow really begins to set up. Now watch what happens here. See this southward push here briefly? I was looking at data last night and this morning. This is the only model that is showing it go this far south. And keep in mind, this just came in this morning here. And so what I'm leaning toward right now is this is likely not going to happen, but we've seen lake effect misbehave this year. Potential surprise snowfall in central Atlantic County tonight, just a heads up for that. And this could produce a couple of inches of snow on the ground. So, of course, Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis will be in late tonight. He'll see how far south it goes. But again, the general trend is it stays mainly north here. We got some Erie bands here south, by the way, but mainly, as you see here, impacting the northernmost areas of Atlantic County, and especially Lewis County and northern Herkimer County. But just again as a heads up, the way lake effect's been trending this year, I would not keep it out of the realm of possibilities as it moves farther south briefly overnight tonight. In terms of snowfall today, as you can see here, low impact snow, not a whole lot expected on the ground. But you look at here, tonight through 7 p.m. Tuesday, some locations seeing nearly 2 feet of snow, mainly in the Tug Hill Plateau area. Then following that, we've been hinting at that cold air working its way in as we head toward the end of the month. And sure enough, here it comes. How cold will it get? Well, we look at the 7-day forecast here. We go from the 20s and teens with some snow chances for much of the work week here. The weekend arrives and it's very cold. We're at single-digit highs and at negative double digits below zero as we head to the weekend overnight. So
Crazy.
we got some cold, we got some snow, Gary. Winter
Yeah.
this is definitely an old-fashioned winter if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, with that 11 below, if there's wind chills, boy.
Ooh, very, very cold.
Yeah. Eric, thanks. Vice President J.D. Vance.
News with Gary Liberatore.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And the snow is a-coming, but you're going to measure in feet today, not inches, right?
Yeah, some spots, primarily in one of the snow capitals here in New York State. Let's head to Tug Hill. This is a live view from the camera in Osceola up in Lewis County here. And as you can see, keep in mind, there's a fence there in the distance, and it's around, I would say, 4 feet tall there. You notice the snow pretty much covering maybe 1.5 feet, close to 2 feet there. Regardless, it is going to be a very snowy next few days in this location, and as Gary mentioned, accumulating in feet once this snow event does move through. We will not be measuring feet of snow in downtown Utica. Yes, that snow band might wobble a little bit south, but when it comes to the brunt of the system, that stays well to the north and west. Currently, we have cloudy skies, temperatures in the 20s with heavy snow out in Buffalo right now, where that snow is coming down in a pretty good clip. And in fact, we take a look at the Yorkville Battery live radar here. We zoom out. This is that front we were tracking, that cold front rolling through, and some pretty significant snowfall there. We'll closely watch it, but again, as a reminder, we were expecting some heavy snow arriving between 5 and 6 p.m. It won't be a whole lot, but at least accumulation on the ground, but enough to coat some roadways and cause reduced visibility. So just watch out for this arriving this evening. We'll be tracking that. If any squall warnings get issued, Storm Tracker 2 app, download that QR code right there. I'll take you right to our app, and it'll give you notifications of those snow squall warnings as they happen. So today, we're in the 20s. We go down into the teens again tonight, and then tomorrow, we're starting to begin that multi-day lake effect setup here, but we'll dive into that here shortly. Gary?
I'm glad those feet of snow aren't down here.
Yes.
Eric, thanks. The Utica Police and Fire Departments responded.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. Happy Monday, everybody. Today we are starting out relatively quiet. Even some of us got to see a nice glimpse of some morning sun today, but clouds continue to work their way through the area. Not necessarily thick, but enough to produce potentially a few flurries in locations, mainly in the areas that are seeing that snowfall here on the Yorkville Battery live radar. Mainly some hilltop areas south of Syracuse and north of the Mohawk Valley. We zoom out and we can clearly see the arrival of a cold front right here, indicated by that dark blue. So there's a pretty heavy snowfall rates out in western New York right now. We'll continue to track the arrival of that. But in the meantime, temperatures again peaking in the mid-20s today. Feels like temperatures cooler, but it will be cooling down tonight with the wind speeds increasing overnight. And of course, when it comes to that snowfall chance, our best shot is around 6 p.m. with the arrival of that frontal boundary. So you can see that cold front right here as it moves its way eastward. It slingshots through the area. And then as we head into the overnight, we've got a bit of a wobbly scenario here with this lake effect snow band. It's expected to strengthen its way north of the Mohawk Valley, mainly in the Tug Hill Plateau, before more widespread snowfall arrives as we head into Wednesday. So we have plenty of opportunity for snow over the next few days. Let's zoom in here on the Skycast. So today, light flurries here and there. Right around 5, 6 p.m., you can see here that cold front rolls through. Watch out for a brief round of heavier snow. It might last maybe 20, 25 minutes and it ends. Then we'll see that snow exit. Keep in mind here, the model that we're looking at right now was the outlier. We're getting new information literally in the last couple of minutes. I'm diving into it during our broadcast here to see maybe the potential southward shift of this. For now, a lot of it stays to the north, but just again, until we have more confidence where that band sets up, just watch out for a sudden, unexpected snow in central Oneida County if that band wobbles far enough south, because this will be a pretty intense snow band before it strengthens and shifts its way even more to the north, impacting areas just outside of Camden, maybe including Camden itself, heading up toward Boonville and eventually slamming the Tug Hill Plateau throughout the day Tuesday and throughout Tuesday evening and Tuesday night before that snow eventually winds down. Of course, we have more light snow arriving Wednesday, but we'll, of course, dive into that here once we get through this event here. So today, you can see here, not a whole lot of measurable snowfall here locally. The big factor here is what takes place tonight through tomorrow night. You can see here some spots picking up over 20 inches of snow in that pink zone, potentially even higher with additional snowfall expected as we head into Wednesday. You can see the general idea of where all that snow is falling. You can kind of pinpoint where the roads are in your town locations. Regardless, a pretty significant snow event here over the span of a day or so. And then, finally, with the wake of that cold front, we actually have Arctic air moving its way in, especially toward the end of the week here. We were mentioning all throughout last week, the second half of January, definitely going to be looking on the colder side. And sure enough, look at this. We head into the end of the week, into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. We are in the single digits, 6 degrees Saturday, 8 on Sunday, lows several degrees below zero. So make sure you find ways to stay warm and bundle up as we head into the coming weekend. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Authorities in Spain say the death. Meteorologist Eric Gage joining us now. And Eric, the Tug Hill getting ready. Even the camera in Redfield's a little afraid, I think.
Yes, and even surrounding areas. I mean, you got a lot of snow up in the Tug Hill Plateau and mainly locations north. We look here at the cameras, those of you wondering. So keep in mind, this is the New York Mesonet Camera Network. These are a number of weather stations created by the Mesonet program out in Albany. And these are all self-reliant. Pretty interesting if you ever think about it. They have all these instruments. They have wind, temperature, humidity, everything weather-related across the state with all these current conditions. But keep in mind, they're self-reliant. They use solar panels to charge energy. And if you have too much snow, like what Redfield has, well, the snow is covering the solar panels and they can't get the energy. So, of course, the camera shuts off to save vital instruments there. So if you're wondering why sometimes some of these cameras don't show up here, because, again, some of these are in very remote places in very unique sections here of New York State. So right now, temperatures are still hovering in the 20s, wind chills a little bit cooler out there today. The snowfall rate has decreased in Buffalo as we zoom out here. That heavy snow is now in between Buffalo and Rochester. There is a whiteout taking place along the thruway. And so if there's a heads up this afternoon, we're going to be seeing the possibility of some reduced visibility as that band rolls its way eastward around the 6 o'clock hour tonight. So again, temperatures in the 20s and teens. Tonight, it's in the teens, wind chills in the single digits, with that lake effect snow really setting up around the Tug Hill area and surrounding areas overnight. We'll be diving into that and the latest trends coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. It may not be at the scale of...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. Happy Monday, everybody. Today we are starting out relatively quiet, but it's the calm before the snowstorm. Well, mainly not impacting us here locally, but it will be impacting a lot of locations around the Tug Hill Plateau. We look at the radar right now. Something else to mention here, too, this evening, probably around the evening commute hours, around 6 p.m. or so, there's this cold front working its way through here, and this has some pretty heavy snowfall, potential whiteout rolling through. So just a heads up, for that arriving again during the evening hours. Following that, actually, as I just am talking about right now, a squall warning was just issued for Rochester. So this has the characteristics of a snow squall. So again, this evening, be prepared for a sudden whiteout as that band rolls its way through. So today we have temperatures in the teens and in the 20s. Keep in mind here, the snowfall will be holding off at least the sustained snow until, I would say generally speaking, the overnight hours tonight, at least the heaviest of snow in the Tug Hill Plateau and those surrounding areas there. But in the meantime here, temperatures, you can see, cooling down into the teens, single-digit overnight low wind chills. And as you look at the bigger picture here, we have that cold front moving its way through. The band which is producing that lake effect will be wobbling a little bit as we head throughout the overnight. That band will eventually shift its way north again, still producing some heavy snow in the Tug Hill area before more widespread snow begins to arrive as we head into Wednesday. So our skycast today, relatively uneventful this evening. That snow squall will move through right around the 6 p.m. hour here. Then that snow shifts into the Adirondacks and parts of the Tug Hill North Country area. It could wobble a little bit south, and although, again, a lot of the data keeping it mainly to the north, with the way lake effect has not been behaving this year, don't be surprised if that band will shift its way south into central Nettie County briefly overnight, producing some pretty heavy snow for at least a couple of hours. So, call it a surprise snowfall. Don't be surprised if that does happen. It will eventually shift its way north again. The general trend is a westerly wind here with some heavy snow around the Tug Hill area, eventually weakening as we head into Tuesday night and into Wednesday. In terms of snowfall today, not a whole lot will be accumulating, but it's really what takes place tonight through tomorrow night. Some spots over 2 feet of snow in that pink area, some isolated locations there as we head to the overnight hours Tuesday, seeing some significant snowfall. So, in the meantime, while the snowfall will be ending, at least a little bit, this weekend we have some pretty cold temperatures moving their way in. An Arctic front rolls in, providing us with some very cold temperatures. We are down into the single digits Saturday and Sunday with highs at 6 and 8 degrees, a low of -11. Gary?
We are back with News Talk. Our guest today
With Jason Palace.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. A winter storm warning is in effect for Lewis County. Up north, they're getting hit hard with lake effect snow over the next couple of days. And later this week, frigid temperatures come our way. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis. He's tracking it all on the Weather Center. In fact, you decided, you know what, we need alert days for this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really cold. It's just a matter of how cold. And we think it's hit that benchmark where while this isn't going to shatter records, this is also a big deal. We're looking at wind chills that are easily going to be well below double digits below zero heading into the weekend. Air temperatures in the single digits both Saturday and Sunday, so we've got alert days out for both of these. There's also some very heavy lake effect snow that has developed to the north and will stay across the Tug Hill heading into this evening, tonight, tomorrow night. In fact, we're expecting feet of snow by Wednesday morning for the Tug Hill. This will stay entirely north of the Mohawk Valley. Very heavy snowfall for some of the hot spots of central New York, if you will. Places that are very much accustomed to snow will be getting quite a bit of it over the next 36 hours. Current temperature 19 degrees. It feels like 6. It's windy. It is cold. And this is just the beginning of a very cold stretch of weather ahead. We've got to look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Well, thank you. It does feel like 6 out there. We were out there earlier. State agencies are also getting ready for this snow. Here are some numbers. State DOT statewide. Over 1,800 plow trucks have been made available, along with over 340 large loaders, and all DOT residencies will be staffed around the clock. The Thruway Authority has over 300 plows, 63 loaders, and 122,000 tons of salt on hand, and they have over 600 operators ready to go if they are needed. Now, intense lake effect snow bands are lashing the Midwest and Great Lakes region and creating dangerous travel conditions. So dangerous, dozens of cars involved in an accident shutting down a stretch of road for hours. The inclement weather causing major problems but winter weather is expected to affect the majority of the country when the week is over. Sherelle Hubbard has more on that new tonight.
More than 100 cars and several jackknifed semi-trucks sprawled all over the road for hours Monday after they were involved in a pileup on a Michigan interstate. The local sheriff says it began just before 10:30 a.m. on Interstate 196 in Zeeland Township near Grand Rapids.
Holy.
This video from a driver who was involved in the pileup shows the aftermath, with cars smashed up against semi-trucks.
Goes back for miles.
He says there were whiteout conditions from a snowstorm ahead of the crash.
It can be almost like going into a white curtain.
We believe what happened is that a vehicle struck a semi-truck, a tractor trailer. That then set off a chain reaction. I can tell you that a couple dozen tractor trailers were involved in this incident, included in the 100 vehicles that were involved.
The accident prompted the closure of the interstate in both directions between two exits, while authorities worked to clear the wreckage. The Ottawa County Sheriff's Office says there were no fatalities and 10 people suffered minor injuries.
Yeah, about 100 cars.
While dangerous sub-zero wind chills are gripping the Midwest and Great Lakes, frigid cold temperatures 20 to 30 degrees below average are expected to affect many parts of the U.S. soon.
About 70% of the population of the U.S. with temperatures this week that will be below freezing, below 32 degrees.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Today, our nation honored the life and legacy of Dr.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
We are staying on the story of the Barneveld Firehouse. The building came down after a roof collapse. Remember this? About 11 months ago now. Tonight we have new details on the Barneveld Fire Department's new firehouse. News Channel 2's Nolan Hyman tells us about their progress and how the project hasn't stopped them from doing their job.
A year ago, Central New Yorkers endured the harsh hit of winter. From a throughway pileup in Little Falls to roof collapses across the Mohawk Valley, its effects were felt throughout the region. And because of this, Barneveld Fire Department lost their firehouse.
Our members have been great. We have not been in a firehouse for 11 months. They haven't missed a call. We had a 21% increase of our call volume this year. And our crews have been top-notch, and they haven't missed a beat yet.
Construction crews have persisted on the path of building a new one, with the steel already put in place and plans to put the roof on by the end of next week.
Unfortunately, we've had a lot of snow and cold early on, but they keep pushing forward and keep making progress so we can get back into our new firehouse.
Currently, the Barneveld Fire Department is operating here out of the Trenton Highway Department garage, which, as you can see, is kind of tight quarters, but they're working with what they have.
We can't say enough about our highway crews. They made room to get our first-run apparatus in, which with the upstate New York weather, obviously they need as much room as they can, but
they're still seeking more grant money to relieve the cost of the $4.2 million project. Stations as far away as Ontario County have donated to the project, and local stations are helping house equipment.
It's overwhelming at times. Usually we're the ones there helping people, but for us to get the support from other agencies, it's the true meaning of the brotherhood and sisterhood. They're there for us just like we would be there for them.
And that kind of support means a lot.
Just to thank the community and all of our neighbors for their support. They've been with us since day one. They've always supported us, and we look forward to having them at an open house as soon as we can move in late summer 2026.
Reporting from Barneveld, Nolan Hyman, News Channel 2.
Registration is now open.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We are taking a live look in downtown Utica. The weather is looking cold tonight. An Arctic front come through. The winds have kicked up. Wind chills have dropped into the single digits. It's going to be a cold day tomorrow. Lots of places will only be in the teens. We are tracking dry weather in downtown Utica, but we look to the north, and there is a band of some very heavy lake effect snow that is forming across the Tug Hill. This is going to produce feet of snow across Lewis County and northern Herkimer County as we head into the next couple of days here. It looks like that's the accumulation through Wednesday morning. We had a piece of energy from the sun hit the Earth that's called a CME, and it's produced the display of the Northern Lights tonight. This was around 6:12. This was at 6:12 today in Norwich, taken by Becky Evans. We've had several people see some of the Northern Lights. Tonight, we actually saw them from Smith Hill, too. We sent out an alert on our Storm Tracker 2 weather app that we were able to see these from Smith Hill faintly, but we were able to see them with the naked eye. We have more pictures on our Facebook page as well. You can check them out. As we look at the temperature tomorrow, again, it's going to be cold. Temperatures will be in the teens. Wind chills will be below zero for most of the day. It's just nice and warm. Even colder weather is on the horizon. As we look at the radar and satellite image, lake effect snow is the big story here in the short term. Again, the winds are aligning themselves where the Tug Hill is expected to get hit hard with this. We're thinking 2 to 4 feet of accumulation in parts of the Tug Hill, Lewis County. This should stay entirely north of the Mohawk Valley, Boonville, Old Forge on the fringe of this too, but could see anywhere between 6 to 12 inches and 1 to 2 feet as you get closer to the Tug Hill. Sharp cutoff, which is very common for lake effect snow. As you drop south, there'll be a lot less snowfall. In fact, very little snow from Rome to Utica. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast, again, that band of snow stays to the north tonight, producing heavy accumulation. Temperatures will be in the teens. Cold, windy day tomorrow, sunshine in the Mohawk Valley, heavy lake effect snow to the north. Temperatures will be in the teens. The heavy snow stays north. In fact, it goes further north heading into Wednesday morning. Winds turn into the southwest. We'll see a little bit of sunshine early in the day, and then more snow looks to return, more lake effect snow heading into Wednesday afternoon and evening. Again, most of this continues to stay north. We'll keep you posted as we head throughout the week as to where this is going. Snow showers tonight, low of 11. Tomorrow, snow continues to fall heaviest to the north. A windy, cold day, a high of 16. Wind chills will be in the low single digits. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Arctic front arrives Friday, producing lake effect snow. And the coldest days of this stretch, Saturday and Sunday. And I think Saturday morning, that's when the wind chill could be really cold, perhaps 20 to 30 below zero. So we'll keep you posted as we get closer.
The clear skies, that means there's no blanket over us. Is that why it also drops like a rocket?
Drops like a rock, it just gets really cold. Actually, gets some of the sunniest days in the winter and the days where it's the coldest.
I did a wrong analogy. You don't want rockets dropping. Okay, thank you, Bill. Coming up next, forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis. We know that we've got lake effect snow going on up north right now, but we're also looking ahead to this weekend, right?
Yeah, we've got alert days out for Saturday and Sunday. We have some pretty serious level cold heading in our direction. While it's not going to be the coldest we've ever seen, it's going to be cold enough to cause some concerns. What are we talking about? Saturday and Sunday, high temperatures in the single digits. Overnight lows, double digits below zero. The wind chills could be somewhere between 20 to 40 below. That's the early idea for this. So we've got back-to-back alert days for this. Before we get there, we've got heavy lake effect snow that's falling across the Tug Hill. This will stay to the north, produce some very heavy accumulation between now and Wednesday morning, 2 to 4 feet of accumulation in some of the heart of snow country here. And you can see that these bands stay almost entirely north of the Mohawk Valley, at least in the short term. It's cold, 19 degrees, feels like 10. That wind out there in the wake of this Arctic front is, it's got a bite to it for sure. Temperatures will stay in the teens tonight into the single digits in spots, but again, the big story is the cold weather which will be settling in. I've got to look at the temperature trend coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. State agencies getting ready for the snow that's coming up north. Here's the numbers. State DOT, statewide, over 1,800 plow trucks have been made available, along with 341 large loaders. Residencies will be staffed around the clock for the DOT. Thruway Authority, they have over 300 plows, 63 loaders, 122,000 tons of salt on hand, and their operators are ready to go if needed. Intense lake effect snow bands in the Midwest, Great Lakes region, and creating dangerous travel conditions. So dangerous, in fact, that dozens of cars were involved in an accident, shutting down a stretch of road for hours. The inclement weather causing major problems there today, but the winter weather is expected to affect the majority of the country before this week is out. Sherelle Hubbard has more on that, new tonight.
More than 100 cars and several jackknifed semi-trucks sprawled all over the road for hours Monday after they were involved in a pileup on a Michigan interstate. The local sheriff says it began just before 10:30 a.m. on Interstate 196 in Zeeland Township near Grand Rapids.
Holy.
This video from a driver who was involved in the pileup shows the aftermath, with cars smashed up against semi-trucks.
Goes back for miles.
He says there were whiteout conditions from a snowstorm ahead of the crash.
It can be almost like going into a white curtain.
We believe what happened is that a vehicle struck a semi-truck, a tractor trailer. That then set off a chain reaction. I can tell you that a couple dozen tractor trailers were involved in this incident, included in the 100 vehicles that were involved.
The accident prompted the closure of the interstate in both directions between two exits, while authorities worked to clear the wreckage. The Ottawa County Sheriff's Office says there were no fatalities and 10 people suffered minor injuries.
Yeah, about 100 cars.
While dangerous sub-zero wind chills are gripping the Midwest and Great Lakes, frigid cold temperatures 20 to 30 degrees below average are expected to affect many parts of the U.S. soon.
About 70% of the population of the U.S. with temperatures this week that will be below freezing, below 32 degrees.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Today, our nation honored the life and legacy.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
We are staying on the story of the Barneveld Firehouse. The building came down, if you remember, after the roof collapsed about 11 months ago because of all that snow. Tonight, new details on the Barneveld Fire Department's new firehouse. News Channel 2's Nolan Hyman tells us about their progress and how the project isn't stopping them from doing their job.
A year ago, Central New Yorkers endured the harsh hit of winter. From a throughway pileup in Little Falls to roof collapses across the Mohawk Valley, its effects were felt throughout the region. And because of this, Barneveld Fire Department lost their firehouse.
Our members have been great. We have not been in a firehouse for 11 months. They haven't missed a call. We had a 21% increase of our call volume this year. And our crews have been top-notch, and they haven't missed a beat yet.
Construction crews have persisted on the path of building a new one, with the steel already put in place and plans to put the roof on by the end of next week.
Unfortunately, we've had a lot of snow and cold early on, but they keep pushing forward and keep making progress so we can get back into our new firehouse.
Currently, the Barneveld Fire Department is operating here out of the Trenton Highway Department garage, which, as you can see, is kind of tight quarters, but they're working with what they have.
We can't say enough about our highway crews. They made room to get our first run apparatus in, which with the upstate New York weather, obviously they need as much room as they can, but
they're still seeking more grant money to relieve the cost of the $4.2 million project. Stations as far away as Ontario County have donated to the project, and local stations are helping house equipment.
It's overwhelming at times. Usually we're the ones there helping people, but for us to get the support from other agencies, it's the true meaning of the brotherhood and sisterhood. That, you know, they're there for us just like we would be there for them.
And that kind of support means a lot.
Just to thank the community and all of our neighbors for their support. They've been with us since day one. They've always supported us, and we look forward to having them at an open house as soon as we can move in late summer 2026.
Reporting from Barneveld, Nolan Hyman, News Channel 2.
Registration is now open for the 30th annual Ride for Missing Children.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. It's a cold night. You can really feel the Arctic air coming in. It's going to get a lot colder here later this week, specifically this weekend. We've got some pretty intense Arctic air on the way, and what we're going to be dealing with over the next 24 hours is just a taste of what's to come. The heavy snow will stay to the north. We've been keeping an eye on this tonight. Heavy snow across the Tug Hill with winds generally from the west will produce very heavy accumulation in Lewis County and northern Herkimer County, but the winds are consistently to the north, and that should keep the lake effect outside of the Mohawk Valley. We've been fortunate enough to see the northern lights this evening. In fact, this was the scene at 612 by Becky Evans. There was another sighting recently in central New York in Mount Vision, and that took place just a few moments ago. So we can't see anything here on Smith Hill because we have cloud cover, but if you live in an area south of the Mohawk Valley that has some clearing, it's worth getting out and taking a peek. At this point, you need to have a camera that has a way to capture some extra light that can take night photos. But what we saw here on Smith Hill, we saw a different version of this at around 9 o'clock this evening, and we were able to see this with our eyes. So it is possible to be able to do that tonight. And by the way, we also sent out a Storm Tracker 2 alert earlier this evening. Maybe you got this, letting you know that the northern lights were out. We were able to see this on Smith Hill. We'll continue to do that as we get more opportunities in the future. But again, northern lights still possible to be able to see tonight if you have clear skies. A very cold day tomorrow. Temperatures in the teens, wind chills near or below zero for most of the day. As we look at the bigger picture, it's all about lake effects for the short term. That wind's going to be consistent from the west. It's going to produce some very heavy accumulation, 2 to 4 feet of accumulation in Lewis County. This stays all to the north. Northern Oneida County, 3 to 6 inches. The gradient gets really sharp heading towards Boonville. This is where the cutoff is with the heaviest snow up towards Old Forge. Potentially 1 to 2 feet of snowfall. Again, that band of snow remains to the north tonight. Overnight lows drop down into the teens. Tomorrow, it's a partly sunny day across the Mohawk Valley, windy and cold, but to the north, snow comes down very heavy towards Boonville and Old Forge. The snow continues to lift to the north tomorrow night. We'll get a small break in the weather Wednesday morning before lake effect snow returns, and it stays generally north as we head into Wednesday afternoon. Snow showers tonight, a low of 11. Tomorrow, heavy snow continues to the north, 16. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Snow showers Wednesday, Thursday. An Arctic front arrives. It'll bring us a burst of snow, lake effect snow Friday, and the real cold stuff arrives over the weekend. Highs in the single digits, overnight lows, double digits below zero. I'm thinking the wind chill just from the just a rough draft of this is going to be about 20 to 40 below zero.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
That makes your skin hurt.
Yeah, that's why you got to cover it. Cover your skin. Don't worry about the wind chill if you're covered.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Bill. Coming up next, the U.S.